Good morning. Sorry I have not been on YouTube here lately, but I have been so exhausted with work because I go to bed so early during the day and I work after I get off work. It's like I come home because I get off at 2, come home for a little bit, then I pick up my daughter, and then I come here, and with all this heat and everything, it drains me dry. So of course I fall asleep really early, and then I get up really early. It's like way before it's even time to even go to work. So, but I thought I come on here tonight. Well, it was out in the morning, and just talk a little about stuff, because I have been watching this one ghost group, and some of the things that they do I'm okay with. There's other things that they do that I'm not okay with. And on that spectrum of things is when you go to a different country and you are in their land, and they are a very spiritual people. They are connected to the land, they're connected to the spirits of the land, they're connected to their deities. I mean, they honor all of this in one. And it's like, you're right, because the name of this episode was, I think it was The Wrath of Pele. And I'm like, oh my God, you didn't go to Hawaiian Islands, and you're going to be there. And, I am not one against Christianity, but when you go to somebody's land, okay, and they are far from being Christians, they have their own deities, and you bring your deity and you pray to your deity there, by Pele's cave or volcano. You're going to offend that god. You're going to offend that deity. Whether it is Pele, whether it is Demeter, any other deity. If you go to Greek and you do the same thing, you better be prepared to freaking have a wrath of that deity, and them call you out. And that's, in a way, that is exactly what Pele did. She said, you offend me. And they didn't understand why they offended her. Well, one, white people are coming into the inlands, and they are not respecting the land. And that upsets her. And it's mostly white people. You pray to this other divine, which is disrespecting her, which is offending her. And then you have the audacity to go into her cave after you did that. I mean, yeah, granted, the kahuna, that's what it is. The kahuna, which is like the spiritual leader, did an offering to the Mishka, or Liskia, and for protection and everything. But when you go after that, and you pray to your divine around another divine's entrance, what do you expect? Use your freaking head. Come on. Be smart about this. You in somebody else's territory, and you're barging in. And they would not listen, and that's what pissed me off. They would not listen. These are smart men. At least I think they are smart. Sometimes I wonder. I mean, it was a good show, but it was only like 2 seasons, and I wonder if getting that close to something that it is more powerful than what they thought kind of maybe scared them and decided not to do it again, because I have not seen any more episodes or seasons. There's only like 2 seasons, and it's, I think, 2019. But yeah, it's like, what do you expect? That's like somebody coming into my domain, and I'm a witch, and I have my own group of deities that I pay homage to, that I work with. And granted, it is an array. There's not just one that I work with, when I want protection for a child or somebody that's a woman that's been abused, I will call upon Lilith. And then I have like the darker deities like Ikate. I work with her with spirits and ghosts. There's another one. The Morgan is another one I've worked with. I mean, there's several. Of course, Bass with cats and everything, and then, I mean, it's not just one, and then I have added 2 more to that, which is Demeter, which is a Greek goddess, and Oshan, which is a Nigerian saint. So, I mean, the list just goes on. And if someone brings their, and they offend me, I'm going to tell them, you need to leave. I don't think I will be as nice as Pele was and say, please. I'll say, you offended. This is my domain. This is my home. This is my sacred space. You offended me in my home. You need to go. I will not say please. And she said please. And they still didn't listen. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are totally clueless. This is way above their pay grade. They should have stuck or stick to the United States. And it's like when they went to Louisiana and they were investigating this one part where voodoo is really entrenched in the culture. And there was this plantation, and the historian was telling them about the revolt, and this happened before the Civil War. I think he said like a couple of years before the Civil War, and it was a huge thing, but it was never talked about in history because of the plantation owners had this, and so they kept it hush hush. And I mean, it was a big, huge thing. Like, I think they said over 100 people of the slaves that was like really, I mean, I understand them. They went through hell. At that time, they were branded with hot iron. I mean, come on, that is extremely painful. They were whipped. I mean, it was brutal, and they had had enough. anybody that goes through that kind of stuff and that traumatic stuff, there's a breaking point. And they had their breaking point. And so the leader of the slaves, he was also like a keeper or something like that. Him and a couple of this one guy's slaves got together, came in the plantation owner's house, killed his son, and almost killed him. And I believe if he had actually killed that owner, I wonder if how history would have rewritten itself, and it wouldn't have been like, no, we wouldn't have had the Civil War, because, the smallest little things set everything into motion. It is like a dominoes effect, and one little change can change everything.